I am Gary Parrish. Welcome back. CBS Sports, Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button. Be Brandon Davies. And if you're one of us, let the world know in the chat and in the comments. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the Eye on College Basketball podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts. Let's get into it. Fun matchup on Tuesday night. Two big brands. The first half was competitive. The second half was not. Final score, number 6, Duke 75, Texas 60. So John Shire, if you're keeping track, that's career win number 90. Sean Miller, 0-1 so far at UT. I guess the main storyline, Norlander, is that five-star forward Cam Boozer didn't score until the second half, but still finished with 15 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 assists, and a block. Good to see you on this Wednesday morning. What'd you make of what we saw from the Blue Devils last night?
Good morning, GP. Good to see you as well. Yeah, plenty to get to, but we'll go with the most recent result, which was it was a fine enough game. It actually, I think game flow wise was about what I expected. Texas did put up some resistance. We'll open on Boozer, then we can dive into just a little bit more elsewhere. Boozer, it was actually stark to come off of everything that Koa Peat did on Monday. And then you got another guy who plays a very similar position. What's Boozer going to do against Texas? And just nothing in the first 20 minutes. 0 points, 3 boards. He still finishes with 15 and 13 anyway. This will probably be, if things go the way we think they're going to go with Boozer this season, this will probably be among his 6 or 7 worst games, and he's still at 15 and 13. He's still at 15 and 13, which is outrageous. But, you know, he was much more assertive in the second half. Isaiah Evans was the most important player on the floor for Duke last night, which I thought was an important development. He had a career-high 23 points. He did it on 7 of 13 shooting, by the way, showing out right near where he grew up as is. And I think that is important. Boozer will be the team's, or it should be the team's best player. But as I said on HQ, I did a Tuesday night hit after the game went final. I actually think Duke's barometer is probably going to be along the lines of how Isaiah Evans goes. That's probably how Duke's going to go, because you're almost certainly going to get just the stat stuffing from Boozer on a nightly basis. Can Evans be the guy that can be efficient, that can be a really, really good three-point shooter, that can be a guy that if they feel like they need to get 25 plus from him, he's capable of doing that. How he works within the offense. I know they have huge, high expectations for him there as well. So, yeah, those are my kind of dual takeaways. By the way, Duke 6-0 all-time versus Texas, and Duke is now won 27 games in a row to start its season. If you listen to the last show, I told you the last time they lost, that was against Stanford back in 1999. So Duke is accustomed to opening with the W, and it does so for the 27th season in a row.
If you remember earlier in the week when we talked on the pod for an hour and 45 minutes.
That was a good time.
I loved it. Time. It was a good time. You gave me an over-under on Cam Boozer double-doubles. I don't remember what the number was, but like
it was 26.5 or 27.5.
I was like, yeah, I'll take the over. I mean, unless you'd have said like 41, I'd have probably still taken the over, right? So, and last night was evidence of why. I mean, it's 0 points with 19:31 left in the game and still finished with 15 and 13. That's his first double-double as a Blue Devil. It was interesting in the post-game press conference. He was asked about his first half. He said, obviously, the first half was rough. But Coach Shire called me out and said I was playing soft, which was true. And then I got going in the second half. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what we've been dealing with down here in Memphis, but it was interesting to see a star player.
I am aware.
It was interesting to see a star player get called out at halftime by his coach and flourish in the final 20 minutes, as opposed to just shut it completely down and then pop off in the post game. It was just interesting to see that in Charlotte last night.
That was for sure. I did see those quotes as well. I actually would love to be on a fly on the wall and see like how hard it's game one. How hard did Shire go at Boozer? But Shire's got, he
was like, I knew I should have taken DeBansa.
I don't think it was something like that, although that would have been hilarious. But regardless,
0 points in the first half. What is your NIL deal? Get AJ on the phone. I think it was probably something like that.
Incredible if so. For Duke winning the game, 2 runs basically solidified it, because Texas actually had the lead by 1 at the break. And at that point, I was like, okay, maybe we'll have a little bit of something here with Texas. Modest Vokatitis. He actually had some. he really could be a guy for Texas this season. 7-footer, unafraid, went at it. Texas, it felt like missed 15 bunnies in this game, by the way, which also wasn't helpful. But for Duke, they opened the second half on a 10-0 run. And then later with from the 9-minute mark to about 7.5 to go, they went on another run, like an 8-0 run that broke it open to an 11-point game. That's really how they got the separation. Texas only scored 60 in this game, just 27 after the break. And Texas didn't even score for the first 5 minutes of the second half. So that's really how they pulled away. It's a good sign from a defensive standpoint. Texas is still going to take some time to kind of put the pieces together. I had him just barely inside my top 35 to start the season. GP had him just barely inside his top 25 to start the season. We'll see. Tremont Mark was not nearly a factor, and he's going to have to be one. Jordan Pope had some nice moments. But at least, Sean Miller's first game, as I mentioned on the previous show, house money situation. You're not expected to win. You're playing in Charlotte. They couldn't get it done, but at least they kept it interesting. They kind of made it a scrappy deal for about the first 75% of the game. And then my last take on the game in general was having nothing to do with the teams, just the event. It took until 2025, which is probably, frankly, about 15 years too late for Dick Vitale to actually have an in-season event named after him. Good on ESPN and everyone involved in that for just doing it. The man deserves it. We are doing it while he is not only still alive, able to call the actual event named in his honor. So plans moving forward are to do this on a yearly basis, of course, and he deserves it. If there's really one person that embodies the enthusiasm, the spirit of college basketball, it is Dick Vitale. Anyone that has come after Dick Vitale that has been in the media, that has shown, a propensity for high-end enthusiasm and just cheery-eyed optimism for what college basketball can be. In a small way, I consider myself a part of that group. But we all owe a huge debt of gratitude to Dick Vitale, who is the most important media member in the history of college basketball. And so he was owed something like this. Glad that he was able to experience it. Jay Billis on the call, Dave O'Brien on the call as well. And so I just wanted to give credit to them. What needs to be one and done, in addition to Cam Boozer, is the court. It was hideous. Take that court and toss it into the Atlantic Ocean. Get that thing out of here. Hideous court, but everything else about it was tremendous.
This might be hard for younger people to understand, but there was a point in time in college basketball where I think you could reasonably argue Dick Vitale was the face of the sport. We had Bob Knight and we had Mike Krzyzewski and Rick Pitino and whatever, but you could reasonably argue Dick Vitale was the face of the sport. For instance, right now, if ESPN or CBS, anybody, is coming to broadcast a game in an arena on a campus, do people, students, fans immediately, first question, who's going to be on the call? I don't know that is really a thing anymore, Yeah. But with Dick Vitale, it was like, oh, this game this weekend, it's on ESPN. Is Dickie V coming? That was like a part of the conversation. Just an incredible ambassador of the sport, in many ways the face of the sport. And just as we've talked about a million times, a sweetheart of a man who has really endured with a brave and positive face, incredible health issues in recent years. But it was just awesome to see him. It's the second night of the season. There was Dick Vitale on TV last night. Me and my wife just sit there and watch, and she doesn't know Dick. She was aware of him, but she doesn't know him. But she loves him just because of what she's seen and what I've told her. And so we got to watch that together, and it was sweet. And I appreciate the point you made. We don't have to wait till people are gone to give them their flowers, to give them those moments. And yes, credit to ESPN and anybody else who could have possibly been involved for making that happen last night, because it was a high profile basketball game early in the season. I'll take that every year, but it also was an opportunity to shine a bright light on a man who has meant an immense amount to this sport.
All right, you want to get to the by far biggest performance, notable event of the first 2 days of the season, GP?
Koa Peat. He was the star of the first 2 days of the season. Arizona freshman put 30 on the reigning national champs. Season opening victory over Florida. We'll dive into that next. First, though, I need a word from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
Final score on opening night, number 13, Arizona 93, number 3, Florida 87. Credit where credit is due. Norlander, you've got Arizona in your Final Four against Florida. The Wildcats, they made you look smart. Norlander, I know you knew Arizona would be really good. You made that clear. Did you also know Koa Peat would be so awesome that he could dominate Florida's heralded front court in his first college game at the age of 18?
Did you go back and look where you put Koa Peat on your ballot for preseason top 100 players? Did you look?
Nope.
Was he? Okay. Hey, honesty session here. He was on mine. Was he on yours or no?
Oh, 100% he was
okay,
on mine.
He was on yours. I think he was like, dude, I think he was like 81 on my list.
I'm going to find it right here.
It was embarrassing after the fact.
I don't think I'm nearly as embarrassing as you.
Okay, well, let's find out.
I hope I'm not as embarrassing.
As GP's looking, I had Jaden Bradley on my list. He was in the teens. Like,
God, I'm more embarrassing than you.
Where was he?
He is on my list, but I'm embarrassed to say.
No, you right now, say it. Say it. 97?
I had him
97.1 on your radio FM dial. Where is he?
I had him at 94.
Okay, there we go. But some of the thinking with that, we're gonna fail in trying to justify.
Some of the thinking with that was stupid. Just call it what it was.
You know what? It's so fun. This is why we love the sport. Surprises immediately. My thinking was,
I think not why I love the sport. I hate the sport because of shit like this.
I thought that I had Bradley like 15, 16 or something like that. I thought that he was going to be knocking on the doorstep of not being an All-American this season, and he was going to be tremendous. And then you get Peat and Burries. I think I had Burries behind Peat. I know Burries, he might have landed higher on our list. I can't remember. Anyway, Burries was a no-show. He fouled out, had 3 points. He was a non-factor and didn't even matter. But what Peat did was insane. And so, yes, even like yesterday, we published at the USBWA our preseason Oscar Robertson Award Trophy watch list, 50 names. That voting was done last week. Koa Peat's not on the list, and now like immediately it's aged terribly. Let's dive into this game. Yes, 93-87. There's a number of takeaways here, but let's focus on Peat first. He's this to me was the best freshman debut I really want to say ever, but I know Bernard King went off for Tennessee back in the day. It wasn't against the reigning champions that were number 3 that brought their entire front court back. There were great debuts by Lou Alcindor, but he wasn't a freshman. And Lou Alcindor, if he had been able to play as a freshman, he would have been just as amazing. He would have had it, but that's, exception on a technicality.
No, there's no scenario where Lou Alcindor doesn't also dominate Alex Condon.
100%. I think I'm totally good with that hypothesis.
Lou Alcindor would have given Alex Condon the business,
without a doubt. But having said that, Peat nonetheless statistically is the first player since at least, and this is any player, not just a freshman, although it would stand to reason all these are going to be freshmen, but you could technically have been a JUCO guy and come into college hoops or whatever, but at least 30 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals in a debut. There had been no one until Koa Peat did it. From a freshman standpoint, to do that against reigning champs, again, they brought back their entire front court, regarded as the best in the country heading in. When we previewed this game on Sunday night, I said I wanted to see how Arizona's front court matched with Florida's because I thought it was actually a really, really good matchup overall. And Peat was absurd. He was ridiculous. He had that one-handed alley-oop lob that they felt all the way up in Reno. He was the first player since Cole Anthony to go for 35 and 5 plus in a debut. Cole Anthony did against Notre Dame in 2019. He was an absolute stud. He announced his arrival with authority. At minimum, he turned the Big 3 conversation into a Big 4. But as I said on HQ, I really do think like it might expand beyond that. Like we really might have 5, 6, or 7 freshmen that play on such a level where it could be a Fab 5 or a Sweet 6, whatever you want to say. Peat is in that conversation right now. He's the front runner for National Player of the Year 2 games into the season. And from a game flow,
sorry, Braden Smith, it's over for you.
It's over.
It's over for you.
Although he did dominate. He dominated Evans. So
11 assists. Yes.
To be fair. Like Matias Krivas wasn't a huge factor. Toby Walker came off the bench and he didn't contribute a ton. The game was largely won by Peat and then Bradley, who had a stretch where he had 10, 12 points in a row for Arizona, including back-to-back possessions where he's like near the rim, but they're off balance, just circus-like shots. Really, really impressive stuff there. So dive in where you want to, GP. let's obviously focus on Zona first. There's another crazy stat on this game, but I'll save that for just a second. I thought it was great to have a game that good. The matchup was good. Then the game was great to open the season. And Pete gave college basketball a wonderful immediate boost by arriving on the stage and arriving ready and frankly looking like a guy who should be starting right now for the Suns, not even the Wildcats.
I think I know your crazy stat because when I saw it, I was like, that can't be right. We'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
But I went and actually double checked it in another box score just to make sure. Like, is that really right?
Yeah.
On Pete, I was thinking through this, like, because it's not like he's out of nowhere. Like, who is this? He's five-star recruit, been famous forever. USA basketball, elite performer, projected one and done first round pick. But this is where the conversation gets twisted up. I think most people, ourselves included sometimes, when we talk about freshmen coming in, we tend to think of them as NBA prospects as opposed to what are they going to be in college. So that conversation centers on Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, and Cam Boozer because they are, in most people's eyes, the most legitimate candidates to go first overall in the 2026 NBA draft. And in most mock drafts right now, you'll find them 1, 2, 3 in some order. Koa Peat is not thought of that way as a prospect for obvious reasons if you watch him play. Like, is he a combo forward or is he a 4-5 small ball 5? Will he ever be a real stretch option? He doesn't shoot it like that. Evidence being that he took 0 threes in this 30-point performance. And so there's some questions about how it translates to the next level, but perhaps there should have been 0 questions about how it will translate to this level, because against what was being described in advance of the game as the best front court in America, with a first-team All-American, whether he should have been or not, a preseason first-team All-American matched up against you, Koa Peat was the best player on the floor, and it wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't.
And he was physically imposing too, as an 18-year-old, physically imposing on older guys who have championship rings.
It was awesome to see. Just the kind of thing that just, again, good for college basketball. The stat that is insane because it just runs counter to how we even think about how Tommy Lloyd builds out his offense. So Arizona wins against a top 5 team to start the season. Arizona drops 93 points and goes 2 of 5 from the 3-point arc.
They took 5 3-pointers.
That's Parrish. That's amazing. I think it's incredible. They were 1.13 points per possession. They didn't even need to do this. And what's even more interesting is it's not like Fland and Xavier Lee are elite, high level shutdown guards that are turning off the water from that deep. That just wasn't, whether it wasn't in the game plan or the flow of the game. And the next thing you know, like Koa Peat's bringing the ball up and they're taking what they're giving them, and it's just working the way it's working. It's rare that you have something like that. I saw, credit to Will Warren, I saw he put this, I think, on Blue Sky. It was the first time since 2011 that a top 5 team was defeated despite the winning side making, not even just taking, but making fewer than 5 3-pointers. When that happened, it was the Johnnies that did it. And who did they beat? Who did the St. John's Red Storm beat back then? Who did they do?
Providence, probably. Duke. Oh, the Dukies.
Come on, Duke.
Yeah, they beat Duke. So shouts to Will Warren for that stat. That's a good stat there. Top 5 team loses despite only having the other side make 5 or fewer 3-pointers. I believe that was the stat there. Big time stuff from Arizona right away. Let's dive into Florida just a little bit. Oh, actually, I got 2 more notes on Zona. Tommy Lloyd, now 22-13 against ranked competition as a coach. It's pretty good, and he's 7-4 when facing top 5 opponents. And if you want one more bit of egregiousness, this is egregious. This is more egregious than where we put Pete on our list. The Big 12 puts out a preseason all-league first team that's 10 players deep, which is stupid, but whatever. Not one Arizona player was preseason all Big 12 first team. Not one.
Yeah, they'll rue the day for that.
They are going to rue.
They're going to rue the day.
Serious ruining.
They're going to rue the day.
some major ruining there. Good stuff by Zona there. And again, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. So then after 2 of 5 from 3, I was like, okay, but is this wildly out of whack? Because off the top of my head, they don't shoot threes under Tommy at Arizona. They were 289th last season in percentage of field goal attempts from beyond the arc. They ranked 281st the season before that, 169th season before that, 223rd season before that. So in a time where the game is shifting in that direction, Tommy has been, I don't even want to say reluctant. I don't even know if that's the right word. They're just not, they don't subscribe to it the way some others obviously do. For instance, just understand something like this. You ready for this? Would never happen in the NBA. Never. Impossible.
But I like that for college basketball that it wouldn't, because I like the counter that it can still happen. I like that. Styles makes fights and all that stuff.
You will never watch an NBA game where only 8% of a team's field goal attempts or something, whatever it was last night or the other night. You'll never see that type of disparity in an NBA game, regardless of who's playing, who are the coaches, anything. It could not happen.
Yeah, and the fact that it can happen in college basketball and you can get 93 in a 40-point game, that's really good stuff. Really good coaching. Great job by the Arizona staff. Let's talk about the Florida side before we move on to the other results. Thomas Houck showed up 27, 2, and 2. He played well. Reinforced my notion that he will be Florida's best player this season. Condon actually got the preseason All-America honor. Some think that it could be Fland if he can really hit. We'll see, but it was clearly Houck, and he was the most consistent player. Xavier Lee had some nice moments, 14 points, but it was on 4 of 13 shooting, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Let him get his sea legs at the high major level. He might turn out to be okay, but Fland and Lee combined I thought as a unit, they kind of displayed a little of why I was just hesitant to put Florida in my top 5. Again, got him easily in my top 15, but it's why I didn't go all in immediately. Fland, 3 of 9, 4 fouls, just 9 points. Condon fouled out. Chinliu fouled out. Chinliu at one point had his jersey ripped. I had never seen that. The front of a jersey just ripped straight off. Had to put on some backup threads there. But those two combined for 15 points and 9 rebounds. Han Logden was serviceable off the bench. But Florida could not handle the counterpunch because they were up first 10 minutes. Florida was winning the game and it was looking crisp. Like they came out ready. In some ways, it reminded me of my Bears in the first 4 or 5 games of the season where Ben Johnson had this great opening drive script. 4 or 5 games in a row, the Bears on their first possession, they looked great. And then once the game got going, it was like, okay, can we pivot? Florida had a little bit of that with Arizona. Gators had been 33-1 in openers since 91-92. That goes by the wayside. It's just game one. For me, the most important thing is that these coaches and these teams agreed to play each other, and we get a game like this beyond. Florida is going to be okay. It just Arizona has the athletes, has the talent, had the scheme. They got it done. I'm going to, I promise we're not going to, at least I won't overreact too much here. Well, let's give Florida plenty of time here to settle in and see what they're going to be as the reigning national champions. They've got a home date against North Florida tomorrow night. They've got Florida State next week. They've got Miami after that. They don't really play a team that's projected to make the NCAA tournament until Duke on December 2nd. That's at Duke, ACC, SEC Challenge. So the Gators, they're going to be a little bit off the radar for a little bit here. But overall, it wasn't embarrassing. It was just you got out strong, and then Arizona came back on you. And I just want to see how the shooting evolves. Last thing for me on this, GP, is Florida was 7 of 27 from beyond the arc. I did mention that in a couple of our pods leading up into the season. They weren't a great 3-point shooting team last season as well. Now they overcame that. They win the national title. Can they do it again? Roll dispersal, all that stuff comes together. I'll be interested to see. Ultimately, it was a 6-point loss against a really good Arizona team that, again, could be a top 10 team this season.
Yeah, I'm not going to get concerned about Florida after a competitive loss to a team that had an all-time great, literally unprecedented performance from an 18-year-old freshman. If you're Florida, you want, one of the questions going in was people think Thomas Houck could be a breakout player after breaking out in the NCAA tournament last season. Well, he looked the part. 27 points for him, and no big deal. Even Tommy Lloyd after the game said, I don't remember exactly how he put it, but it was something along the lines of, I really wasn't thinking, much about winning or losing but like, let's just go play the game. See, it's not that big of a deal. Now, you obviously want to win it. This is one that's you put it in your back pocket and you carry it to Selection Sunday to enhance your resume. But there was no result outside of something that was connected to season-ending injury of a key player that was going to be catastrophic for anybody. It was just a fun basketball game. TNT, I thought, did a good job with it. The studio crew was terrific. And I was glad we had that doubleheader on Monday night. And I was glad that, as we mentioned on Sunday, that Todd and Tommy were willing to make that game happen.
Agreed. We got more to get to here, including AJ DeBanza, Villanova, that game from Monday, and the notable close shaves, the high majors that lost, a couple of vids to share. But first, let's go. Word from our partners, number 2.
Only CBS Sports can bring you big time during the heart of Saturday afternoons. It's big time.
It's big time. It's big time. It's big time.
On CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
All right, Norlander, it's time for what I like to call the midweek bounce around. It's a midweek bounce around. If you don't mind, let's start with the sports top-ranked team.
Sure.
That's the Purdue Boilermakers. Final score, Purdue 82, Evansville 51. Preseason National Player of the Year, Braden Smith. He got 11 assists in 30 minutes, so he is on a proper pace to break Bobby Hurley's all-time NCAA assist record. Fletcher Lawyer made 7 3-pointers, finished with a game-high 30. And afterward, Purdue coach Matt Painter was asked to address the idea that there are some Purdue fans who love Fletcher Lawyer, obviously, but then others who would just as soon replace him in the starting lineup. Josh Mullinex is our new producer. Welcome to the show. Josh, if you got it, let's watch Matt Painter address the Fletcher Lawyer haters out there.
We have it. Hold on. He doesn't have it. Oh, he doesn't have it, GP. What did he say, GP?
Okay.
What did he say?
Okay.
What did he say? How about this? How about you do your Matt Painter impression talking about Fletcher Lawyer?
The question was presented this way. It was, and I want to be clear. If I did not send that, then that's on me. I'm not trying. I thought I sent it, but full disclosure, as I was finalizing prep for this. As I was finalizing prep for the show this morning, this is just in the spirit of transparency. I'm sitting in my chair. I've got the kids all showered and the teeth are brushed, and everybody's got their backpacks. And my beautiful wife is going to be kind enough to take the boys to school. And I'm like, all right, I just got to finish. And it's probably right at this time where I was like, let me send this Matt Painter clip to everybody. And then my wife comes back into the front door and she says, my car's dead. And I said, damn. She goes, do you mean just take the boys and then come back and get you? And I was like, I don't think we have talked about our schedules today. I have a podcast starting in about an hour. We don't have time to do all the stuff you're doing. And at that point, it was scramble mode up until the point I turned the mic on this morning. So it's possible I forgot to send them that.
The chat is giving us a couple of good. We've got a nada with a wink. We've got that's a tough debut from Josh. This may not be on Josh. This may be on GP.
I'm going back through my text messages now. It appears it's on me. Okay. I'm going to take responsibility for this one. I'm going to hold. One of the things I try to talk to my boys about sometimes is that it's okay to make a mistake, but when you do it, don't look around like you don't know what happened. Hold your hand up and say, that's on me. I messed that up and I'll be better next time.
It is note perfect for this podcast that on our first show in the post-Nada era, you call, because I got my own video that I'm going to call up before the show, and I know he has it. Okay. I know he has that video ready that you called it up and it wasn't there. That's one.
When you mess up, you hold your hand up and you say, this is on me. So if I cued a Matt Painter clip that nobody had other than me, that's on me. But if you want to circle back to the root cause, maybe
you're going to blame your wife.
Maybe when you're taking things out of your car at night, you'll remember to shut the door so it doesn't stay open all night.
He's trying to blame his wife for the new producer not having the Matt Painter video. Oh
maybe my wife sabotaged Josh opening pod. What if we find out my wife was Team Nada the whole time?
It's entirely possible.
And now she's trying to sabotage things. I'm just saying, I held my hand up. maybe everybody should hold their hand up. Anybody who played a role in this should maybe hold their hand up and say, yeah, I could close my door.
All I know is I got my video ready whenever we want to get to it. That's all.
Here's what Matt Painter said. He was asked, he said, hey, you know, Coach Paint, there's some Purdue fans out there, and some of them love Fletcher Lawyer, but other ones, they just soon have him transfer to Indiana State or something. And Matt Painter said, well, the ones who want to get rid of him, they're not very smart, so let's not talk to them. I like Matt Painter has instructed the smart Purdue fans to not talk to the not smart Purdue fans. Did you know, in all seriousness, for a second, did you know there was a Fletcher Lawyer hater component to the Purdue fan base? I wasn't aware of that.
Good thing. Like, some of this stuff is going to hit our radars. It's unavoidable given what we do. But sometimes you like plumb the depths of these certain fans. Like, you don't want to go down that. You don't want to be that lost into the forest. So I did not know that was a thing. And let's take it easy, folks. I mean, it's Fletcher Lawyer.
Take it. He's an above 40% 3-point shooter for his career. He's a 4-year starter. He's 44.4% from three each of the past 2 years. He started 111 games, won 2 Big Ten regular season titles, a Big Ten tournament title, made 3 straight trips to the NCAA tournament, been a part of multiple number 1 ranked teams, and played in a national title game. Like, his name is going to hang in that place someday. What are we talking about?
I hear you. Meanwhile, Purdue walloped him by 31. Can we get to DeBanza and Nova?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. He had 21 points.
You got a video for it?
I don't, actually. That's not the video. 21, 4, and 3, which is also what Darren Peterson had, 21, 4, and 3 on his opening night against Doug Gottlieb's Green Bay Phoenix. DeBanza was 9 of 18 from the field. Just 1 3-point attempt, by the way, from DeBanza in that game. Richie Saunders at 15, Rob Wright III at 14. I actually thought Koa Peat was the most valuable player on the floor. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. But if you watch the game, a menace, and immediately a player who I already consider him to be a very much plus defender. But, maybe he's going to be a guy that's going to be in that top 3, top 5 conversation for defensive player of the year. Nova gets the win. Nova gets the close loss by 5. I thought it was notable that they held BYU to just 71. This is a team that we think is going to be capable of dropping 80 plus with regularity. Didn't happen there. Good fight from Villanova. Bryce Lindsey, who started his career at A&M last season when went to JMU, and now he's coming off the bench. At least for this game he was, maybe not for long. He had 22. Looked really nice for Kevin Willard's group there. Duke Brennan transfer from Grand Canyon. He had 15 boards for Villanova. So just some kind of like Texas a little bit. You lose the game, but you lose it relatively close. You see some good initial signs. New coach, how are the pieces going to fit? Nova, barring it taking a loss it doesn't want to take, it's going to be off our radar here for a bit. It doesn't have another relevant game until Michigan in more than a month on December 9th. But for BYU, you get the win, the main stage. DeBanza plays well. He doesn't, absolutely pop in a huge way, but he didn't need to. Got enough from Saunders and Wright as well. And with that, we had a poll go up earlier in the show. Who do you think is going to be the best freshman this season? Options were DeBanza, Peterson, Boozer, or other, like Pete and other. And right now, all others, GP leading it. 49% say that the best freshman this season will not be one of the big 3. Boozer is number 2 with 21%, Peterson 3 at 16%, and then DeBanza coming in the caboose there was still a healthy 14%. But yeah, the big 3 of the field is basically a 50-50 split right now.
Let's go ahead and circle in one more final score, and we can talk about all this together. Number 19, Kansas 94, Green Bay 51. Like we've noted, it was an incredible first few days for the freshmen. Peterson got 21, DeBanza got 21. Koa Peat, we've talked about. Nate Ament at Tennessee went big. You never want to get caught up in hyperbole, but I've seen things like best freshman class ever, and it sounds like it could end up being true. The same way we talked about the SEC last season as this could be the best men's college basketball conference in the history of the sport. I think we're going to end up in a pattern. And you know how I like my patterns. We're going to end up in a pattern where we're saying pretty consistently, well, you realize this is the best freshman class in the history of the sport. Like that's going to be a thing, isn't it?
I think we are okay. You know what? Let's overreact. I think we have a chance that that's going to be the case, and that could be evidenced by we might have the top 6 picks in the draft are all freshmen. Like we'll see. We'll see how it develops. But yes, we've got some immediate good signs there. And for the most part here, you look across the players that were top 10 in this respective class, and they all immediately made some immediate impacts there.
Yeah. So there was one power conference ranked team that got a scare on the first couple of days, and that was Auburn against Bethune-Cookman. Final score was 95-90 in overtime. This was a blast for me. I'm just sitting around and I see it's a competitive game late in the second half. I'm like, all right, let me figure out where this is streaming. Turn this on. First thing I see is Reggie Theus. I'm like, look at Reggie Theus. There's Reggie Theus. And then the next thing, and they're like, and Arterial Morris. I'm like, hold up a second.
I know.
Hold up a second.
This dude is in college. He's still
I know that. I know that.
I don't even know that name.
I know that ain't who I think it is. And then I'm like, isn't he and I was like, oh yeah. His career got derailed a little bit. Five-star prospect, McDonald's All-American, was enrolled at Kansas for a bit, was enrolled at Texas for a bit. And, you can Google it. His career went sideways a little bit. Apparently bounced around in JUCO, and now he's at Bethune-Cookman.
Yep.
And knocked down 3, like in the Darius Washington moment, he knocked down 3 straight free throws near the end of regulation to send the game to overtime. All's well that ends well for Stephen Pearl, I guess, but that's not the type of first impression you want, getting pushed like that by Reggie Theus and Bethune-Cookman.
No. Okay. Couple things on this game. We actually had some more high majors that took some close calls and losses. I'll get to that in a second. But what we do
ranked teams, high major ranks.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like the ones that aren't ranked. I'll mention it. Sorry, TCU's not getting out of this podcast without getting dragged for losing to New Orleans. Okay, they're getting mentioned. But first of all, I couldn't watch this game because I've got YouTube TV and they got this whole dispute. Was able to do the Duke game because, dude, I had to stay on task here, but just. I had to go to my parents and ask for their login information because they use a different service so I could watch the Duke game last night because I refused to sign up for like these free trials. So thankfully I'm on the right path now. But I wanted to watch this game. I had no way to do it on Monday night.
On this, by the way, speaking on behalf of cable subscribers, satellite subscribers.
Yeah, I know.
I got done dirty by ESPN Unlimited. All right.
Okay.
They had this WWE event when they launched the whole thing a few weeks ago, whenever it was. And I was like, I got DirecTV. I guess I probably have that, right? I got everything. I should have everything. They were like, no, you don't get this. I'm like, what? So they said, no, GP, you got to pay us $300 for the year to watch Roman Reigns. All right, whatever. If this is what it takes, is what it takes. I want to watch my tribal chief. So I gave them $300. And then like a week later, they were like, hey, GP, got good news. Your DirecTV subscription gives you ESPN Limited. Do I get my $300 back?
Nope, they took it. You were robbed.
I was robbed.
They robbed me.
I was robbed by ESPN Unlimited.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's keep it going here. What I was going to say was I wasn't able to watch this game. I was able to watch Bruce Pearl, who made his TV debut. He thought that they won the game before the psychotic foul at half court on Arterial Morris, which allowed him to go to the line to get it to overtime. So Bruce Pearl sent out a tweet that said boom, as if like my son just won his first coaching debut. But in that moment, he was actually going to overtime. And Bruce actually said the story on television. And the way that he said it was basically like he sent the tweet. I think this is how it went down. He sent the tweet. He left his phone in the green room because they went out to the set. They realized it was going to overtime, and he was like, someone's got to take that tweet off my phone right now, which is amazing. Stephen Pearl gets the win. Stephen also had a very funny quote afterward where basically said, I know Auburn fans are sick and tired of being asked to be patient because of the whole Hugh Freeze stuff. So very, very meta in that. Not the right way you want to start, but they get the win. They dodge it. But again, we'll see how this goes for the Tigers. That was not what Auburn fans wanted to see there.
Still, it's nice to know that Arterial Morris is alive.
Sure. High majors who had close calls: Colorado, UCF, Xavier, even Oregon last night won by 1 on his home floor over Hawaii. Those were high majors that had close calls. There was another high major who had a close call. This is the video I'm talking about. Did you see what Mick Cronin said after the game?
Yes, of course. I see. There's going forward for the rest of my life. As long as I am breathing on this planet, I will not miss anything Mick Cronin says.
I'm glad to hear it. Josh has this video. It's about 30 seconds for those who didn't see it or hear it.
I guess your wife's car didn't go dead this morning.
It did not. It did not. Okay, it did not. Let's hear what Mick Cronin had to say after the win on Monday night.
The wrong attitude in life, it shows up. So, I blame myself because I knew it. I knew this was coming tonight, and I couldn't stop it. So I failed miserably. I tried and shoot around. You were there. Arrogance, lack of humility, don't want to defend, don't want to rebound, don't want to play defense. There's so many mistakes. I'd like to fire myself.
This is game. All right.
Be careful saying stuff like that at UCLA. All right.
Well,
they'll get you.
I know. He did just get a contract extension in the offseason, so I think that's also what goes into that. It was an 80-74 win over Eastern Washington. This is game one. As promised, I sent out a few additional predictions for the season on social media early this week when we didn't squeeze them in at the end of the previous pod. The one that I did not put on that list that I had written in my doc, but I was like, it's 11, I'll cut it down to 10, was I said a minimum of 4 viral Cronin moments on the mic this season. I don't know if this is quite on the level of viral, but we are one game in. And if you actually, the whole presser's like 6 minutes. I watched the whole thing. I am hoping he is in for another generational run behind the mic because Mick Cronin just not giving an F about anything is tremendous content. And we couldn't not play that on the show after a win, him wanting to fire himself.
So at Big Ten Media Day, I sat down with Mick and he was already stressed about what he thought would be issues with his top 10 team. he was already like, and I just love it because that's where his mind sits. He was like, I mean, a different coach might be like, I'm bringing back Tyler. I've got the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. We're set up to go. And he was just like, I don't know if we can guard anybody. I don't know. You know, he was just like, he was already like stressed out about, and I guess he knew what he was seeing because it did show itself in that season opening win.
Sure.
But it was a season opening win. Let's not let that get lost.
Pepperdine next Friday night at home. We wait to see what's coming there. Another high major that barely won was Georgia Tech, 56-52 in overtime against UMass, which is Maryland Eastern Shore. Yeah. Not great. I mentioned TCU lost to New Orleans. New Orleans won 4 games last season and had former players that were alleged to have been involved in illegal gambling activity, and that's who TCU lost to at home. Not good for the Frogs. The other high major that lost, albeit on the road, Boston College got to OT against FAU. They lost 83-70. Just a few more notes for you here, GP, and I actually have one more video as well. If you watched CBS Sports Network on Monday night, as we told you, Kelvin Sampson notched his 800th win. So good news there. Elsewhere in the Big 12, Texas Tech didn't have like half of its team last night to lower body injuries. I don't know what's going on in Lubbock. I'm going to see that team next Tuesday. I would like to see JT Toppin healthy.
They're all in wheelchairs.
It's all lower body injuries.
The whole team's in wheelchairs. It's outrageous.
Like, what are we doing? Grant McCaslin, what's going on?
What are y'all doing in Lubbock with those?
Because now the Big 12 teams, as should be the case everywhere, you got to send out the injury reports and all that. And so, I don't know, 90 minutes before game time, you get the email. Lawan Watts, JT Toppin, Luke Bemboye, Josiah Mosley, they're all out. Lower body injuries.
What are you doing to your players' lower bodies?
What the hell's going on?
What is going on with the Texas Tech lower bodies?
Oh, man. They got the win regardless, and Christian Anderson was awesome. 34 points, career high, 11 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. They cruised past Lindenwood, but notable there all the same. We had 2 Mountain West uh-ohs. Josh Pastner lost to UT Martin last night, GP. That was the 297th team at KenPom going into the game. So rough one there. And then Boise State lost to a Division II school, Hawaii Pacific, which is there a Hawaii Atlantic? I don't get that.
I hope so. I hope there is.
Redundant to me.
I hope there is.
Nevertheless, Boise State lost. Bad stuff there. BJ Range, who covers the program, says that's the worst loss in the history of the school. And then only 2 more. Mid-major one of note, High Point Furman. I highlighted as a really good mid-major matchup on Monday. High Point steamrolled them 97-71. there is a thought that could really be one of the best mid-majors in the country. They have a new coach, Flynn Kamen, who was on staff last season after Allen Haas went to Creighton. And then last one, got to do it, GP. You saw what happened near Lake Michigan on Monday night.
That's the most famous nun in America.
I assume many people watching or listening are aware of this, but Josh has this video too, by the way, GP. See,
how did he get all these videos?
Producers this is elements before we go on the show so that we can have
all these videos.
So yeah, exactly. We actually have a small news thing that I'll get to before we get out of here as well. But let's see how Loyola Chicago ended its first game with Sister Jean watching from above.
Will inbound it. Goes into Tavares for the win. It's good. And the Loyola Ramblers take down Cleveland State 91-88. They're going to review.
That's badass.
You cannot let Day Wilt get a clean look like that.
I don't think it mattered.
How do you let Day Wilt get a clean look like that?
Watching from on high. There we go. Sister Jean. Seriously, how great is that? That in the very first game after she passes, less than a month ago, Loyola Chicago gets the win on the buzzer beater, beating Cleveland State 81-78. Some really, really good opening night vibes there. And as promised, Sister Jean bobblehead. This is on the shelf behind me for the entire season. Good on the Ramblers there. That's just, yeah, that's chill bump inducing stuff. Before we look ahead, Josh mentioned to us this in our chat, and this has been announced. Purdue and Tennessee, home and home series beginning next season. So that'll be in December of 26. So just a small news item that's breaking literally in the middle of the show. I don't know why this couldn't have been announced in the preseason, but they got it done, and that's a really nice home and home situation there. So yeah, live as we're taping right now.
I don't know if you can tell. I'm sick. I'm battling an upper respiratory.
First of all, this is mid-February behavior for you. How dare you do this in November?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I was saying it because I just was trying to talk and there was
I wasn't looking. I was putting my Sister Jean thing back.
Okay. I was trying to talk and I couldn't get any words out. This is tough, man. I don't know how to send videos or talk. This is
Josh
tough.
is like, what did I get in?
What did I get myself into?
What did I get myself involved in?
Hold on. I gotta produce a podcast with an asshole who says he sent me videos but didn't, and he also can't talk. This is gonna be something. Looking ahead before we get out of here to the next couple of days. On Wednesday, that's today. Nothing great. Number 23, Creighton, only ranked team in action. Blue Jays going to open their season in Omaha against South Dakota. On Thursday, we've got 4 ranked teams in action. Number 3, Florida hosting North Florida, so a chance for the Gators to bounce back. Number 11, Louisville, Jackson State. Number 16, Iowa State, Grambling. And then number 20, Auburn against Merrimack. You can't get pushed by Merrimack after getting pushed by Bethune-Cookman, can you?
Yeah, I think it's Merrimack, but if you want to call it Merrimack,
Merrimack is the way you say it. That's Merrimack.
If I'm Merrimack, by the way, I definitely have like an all black that I'm rocking on the regular there. Yeah, it is thin. It is thin stuff. Wednesday, Thursday. We couldn't mix in one game tonight, like one halfway decent game. Got to wait till Friday. So.
I mean, in all seriousness, you should. Like, people should think about this. If I were running
it's not on the coaches. I guess it's not on the coaches specifically, but like
if I were running a prominent college basketball program, I would be on the phone with my television partners and being like, hey, can let's work on I want to be on TV in prime time on that Wednesday night opening week of the season because there's no football. And it doesn't appear there's going to be anything else there. All eyes can be on me to the extent that all eyes are pointed at a sporting event in America. I can point them my direction. I would have tried to. Same thing in college football. If I had I say this about the Memphis football program all the time. I'd be trying to get those Friday night games whenever I can. You play on Saturday, nobody's going to watch you, even if you're ranked, because Alabama's also playing, Ohio State's also playing. Put me on Friday night, let everybody see me. And for college basketball, yes, it would be nice to have something compelling on TV tonight.
Yeah, we don't. So when our Friday show, really, unless there's a headline, like there's really not going to be a ton to look back at. If there's something, like we're obviously going to talk about it, but a ton of preview stuff. So
we'll make something up. I'll make something up.
Just make sure you send Josh the video if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make something up. I'm gonna send Josh some videos. We can get 45 minutes out of that, no problem.
Kansas, Carolina, Maryland, Georgetown, Alabama, St. John's, Arkansas, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Gonzaga, Indiana, Marquette, and others. We do have some really good stuff on tap for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll see what happens over the next 2 days until then. I think that's a show.
You know,
you got anything else here?
Well, like if nothing notable happens over the past couple of days, we could just circle back on Friday to that Matt Payne or Fletcher Lawyer video.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we should. Maybe that's how we open. Maybe that's the A block.
You know what, Josh? I'll send it to you in a second. Just send us.
Yeah, let's get some like tasty 3-day-old video.
Yeah.
2 shows later.
Yeah.
Really settle into that. Do some
Absolutely.
Analysis. Maybe even play it twice. That feels like a really solid, healthy A block. I kind of like that.
Yeah, let's play. Okay, that's our working plan, and we'll adjust if necessary.
That's a deal. Looks like Josh put up a second poll, by the way. Chad is 75-25 in favor that this will be the best freshman class ever. Could be true, could be prisoner of the moment. We'll see. But appreciate everyone joining us here. If you like what you're hearing, just make a habit of joining us for the shows. Live shows on Sunday nights in the general 6-7 p.m. hour. Wednesdays and Fridays when Parrish doesn't have to overcome a dead car in his driveway. 9:45 a.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays. That's the target. So we are planning to be back for our Friday show at 9:45 a.m. Eastern time.
On behalf of my wife, I would like to apologize to Josh for her sabotaging.
Can you do me a favor? Can you just send me a picture of your car? And I'm going to put it in the no context preview, the one that was dead. Even if do you have a picture of your car available?
No, I cannot send a picture of my car.
He won't send me a picture of his car. He didn't send a picture of his TV set of his promise.
You notice you've never seen a picture of my car. Never. And it's because people get jerky about it. So no, I'm not going to show you my TV setup. And I'm going to do is I'm going to now put a picture of the car that I think Parrish has, and that's going to go in the no context preview. I will not show you my TV setup, and I will not show you my car. I don't want to be shamed, but it's nice. It's nice.
That's a show.
Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Terry Teagle. He's a legend. Huck Larnell. Thank you guys once again for watching and listening to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast.
People got you driving a Cybertruck in the comments.
I do not have a Cybertruck.
Oh, that's beautiful. This is why the chat rolls. It's a Cybertruck. Oh, look at that.
I do not have a Cybertruck. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, Apple, Spotify. There's more of us than there are of them. That needs to be reflected in the comments.
Nissan Juke.
In high school, do you know what I drove in high school? Put this in there because this is what I drove in high school.
Nissan Juke is sending me. Oh my god!
When I was rolling up to my junior year of high school, I was rocking a Suzuki Samurai. I drove a Suzuki Samurai. Look that up.
I'm looking it up right now. No way.
I drove.
Hold on. We actually have 2 minutes. Throw this on the screen. There's no way this was your first car. Gosh, get it on. Here's the first show. Here's the first show.
I think my first car was actually a Mazda RX-7. All right. But then I transitioned to a Suzuki Samurai.
Look at this thing. Look at this.
I drove a black Suzuki Samurai with a 9-inch nail sticker on the back. It had an NIN.
This is incredible.
Back. Man,
this is incredible.
I was having to beat them girls off of me. Suzuki Samurai with a 9-inch nail sticker, buddy. I was running.
I had a red Ford. I want to say it was a red Ford Taurus, maybe. I can't remember. I'd have to ask my parents, but I was so dumb when I got my first car. I didn't know it was low on oil, but I drove it for like 4 months. Didn't change the oil. The thing, I was on my way driving, I think to work. The thing just overheats on me in the middle, and it's just dead. I had my first car for 4 months, and it just died on me. Oh, you're supposed to put oil in this thing? You're supposed to change the oil? It was brutal. It was awful.
I have a memory from my childhood where, and by the way, this is evidence that I haven't always had nice cars or nice TV setups. I'm out the mud. If you want to know the truth. All right. I have a memory because I just remember my parents would be complaining God, I got to fill up with gas. I just remember money being an issue with them. Like, God, had to put $20 in the gas tank again. I just remember. And so I had this idea. I was like, I can fix this. I can help. And I filled my father's car up with water, the water hose. That was not, it was not helpful. It didn't help things the way I thought it would.
Josh, this is the show, by the way. He's aware. He's listened to it before. But, yeah, we were supposed to end 5 minutes ago. Next thing you know, we got Parrish driving a Cybertruck, throwing back to his days, driving a freaking Suzuki. What was it, a Samurai?
Suzuki Samurai. And at one point, the you know how in most cars back then in the mid-90s, you'd put a key in and then you would turn it and it would start right up.
Yes, that's the idea.
That stopped working. So as I was delivering pizzas, my guy Grady, I don't know how I remember Grady all these years later.
Neither do I. No one knows who you're talking about.
But Grady, he was real good at like just doing stuff with wires and stuff. And so he installed in my Suzuki Samurai what amounted to a doorbell underneath the steering wheel. And I would get into my Suzuki Samurai and I would hit the doorbell, and that's how my car would start. And then I would go deliver pizzas. I was out the mud, man. I'm out the mud.
You and your Cybertruck, man. Yeah. Love to see you just pulling into FedEx Forum parking lot. You got your own space. The Cybertruck's taking up 2 of them. You're probably encroaching in on Vernon's space.
I do have an electric vehicle. It is not a Cybertruck, and it did go
Draw your own conclusions.
And it did go dead here at FedEx Forum one time. Like it was on 1%. It was about to go dead. And I had to go down to the player's garage because they have chargers down there. And I had to charge my car. I was sitting in Marcus Smart's.
I was about to say, then that's why John Morant doesn't want to be on the team anymore.
Yes. He was like,
that's the event that started it all.
Yes. Ja pulled in and he was like, who is in my spot? And now everything's blown up. I was charging my vehicle in Marcus Smart's spot literally when he got traded. True story. I appreciate him, though. That was his biggest contribution to the franchise, by the way, was charging my car. That was the biggest impact he made in Memphis.
Wrong.
He let me. He gave me an ability to charge my car so I could go home and see my children. All right. Hey, I got another show to do. Can we get out of here? All right. I got to go. All right. Bye. We'll talk to you Friday. Bye. I got to go.